I am Ray, and you will never truly feel in control of your life until you realize that you are the creator of the universe. Who would have thought? Let me explain. Have you ever listened to Pink Floyd? I'm disappointed. Uncultured swine. Unless you said yes. Well then, congratulations. This is a prism. And what a prism does is the great white light gets sent through the prism, through the top of the pyramid right here, and gets channeled out into all the different colors of the rainbow. Infinite different colors. Too bad I didn't have other colored markers, because then you'd be able to see. You gotta separate the colors from the whites. Brings me back. If you didn't know, that was a joke. Racism isn't funny, man. Not funny to you, friend. But the truth is, it's all the same one light. We all one. It's all one truth. It's all one. So no racism needed. Stop it. But here's the trouble. Is that we are so busy focusing on the separate, unique forms, the separate colors, and we are never made aware that it is all the same one light. And you are that white light experiencing itself through these different colors. Meaning, you are the pure, unconditioned consciousness, the awareness behind all your experiences, experiencing itself in form. You are the limitless experiencing itself in the limited. You are the eternal experiencing itself in the temporary. But we identify with the limited temporary forms, and that is why we are a slave. When in reality, you are the creator of everything. You are the source of everything. All limitations are self-imposed because we falsely believe in what we are not. But once you see the unity behind it all, no more racism for you. You stop seeing the colors. Now let me ask you a question. How much power does the eternal have over the temporary? Answer me this. Absolute power. How much power does the limitless have over the limited? Absolute. And yet only when you see someone like Jesus perform miracles are we even capable of believing something like this. But Jesus was just representing the true human potential that we all have within us. But the reason we can't tap into it is because we don't realize our Christ nature. We are so busy attached to this body, to this mind, living in ignorance, living in illusion, and therefore we are castrated of our power. So you have to take your power back if you don't want to be a slave to the evil people who know their power and who take it and who do not care. They do not care, and that is a big problem, because a lot of good people, they are too humble. They say, no, I don't want any power, I just want some chickens and some fruits, maybe a nice white picket fence. Whereas the evil villains are hell-bent on taking over the world, and they don't care who stands in their way. They don't have any laws. They don't have any rules. And so if good people don't claim their power and step up, well, it's going to be the same cycle over and over again, where evil people take everything and destroy everything. Now, for the first time, the playing field is being leveled, and it's soon going to not be that way because of artificial intelligence and also the spiritual awakening going on. The problem is there's going to be a lot of people who get left behind because this knowledge, when you live with it, your power is exponential. There's no one that can compete with you. Because imagine if you're living from the God state and someone who is not living from that state is trying to compete with you in any way. What's going to happen? They cannot do anything because what they're trying really hard to do and struggling with, you're accomplishing with ease. You're not even putting forth any effort. Effortless success. So you're not wasting energy all the time. So how might we even discover ourselves as the eternal in the first place? Because it's all fine and dandy to have nice ideas and philosophies. But until you experience it for your own self, it's just going to be that, a concept. The only way to find the truth is to see through the illusion of what you are not. You must seek the truth of what you are, because you are already that. You are already the divine. Think of a mirror, for example. On one side you got Jesus, on one side you got you. For most people, the mirror is all muddied up with earthly conditioning, dirt and mud and stuff like that. So when you look in the mirror, you get a distorted image. But when you have someone like Jesus, you have a clear, polished mirror, that of which the light of God is shining through perfectly, without effort. That same light is being shined forth through you, but because of all of that earthly attachment, it's getting distorted and warped and dimmed. And that is why you can see some people are very cringe, like they weren't loved enough as a child, because the light within them has been dimmed and contorted. They have all of this trauma, all of this stuff going on. So when you hear them speak or when you interact with them at all, it's like, stay back away from me, get away. It is that light within us that is the source of all power. It's the source of all abundance, of all peace, love, and joy. And so the more earthly conditioning we have, the more that's all covered up, and that is why we suffer in misery. True power is found in surrender, not in control, which is why the evil people can never truly win, because the evil people always try and control. They cannot surrender. It is not allowed for them. But you can surrender, unless you're evil. What are you doing here? Do you not realize I will send bees to your house? Swarms? When you surrender to God, God surrenders to you. But when you try and control your life, it is all up to you. All the burdens of the world are on your shoulders for you to figure out. And as a limited human being, as a limited mind, there will always be struggle. Because you are going up against, generally speaking, an infinite life. So no matter who you are, no matter how much you think you're the baddest monkey on the planet, you will get washed away with no effort by life. You can live to be 10,000 years old. The universe is like 14 billion years old at least. So what is 10,000 years old in the face of 14 billion? It's nothing. Washed away as if you were nothing. And we live 1/10 of that, at best. Wait, no, that's 1,000 years old. But at the same time, when you tap in to the eternal within you, well, what is 14 billion years in the face of eternity? It's nothing. Comes and goes in a blink of an eye. Billions of years, gone. Means nothing, because eternity is beyond time. Only those who tap into the eternal within them can master the universe, can master nature. Which is why someone like Jesus can stop the weather, or heal someone, or really do anything. And he's not the only example of human beings that have been able to do things like that. Go read Autobiography of a Yogi, why don't you? We all have this potential within us, but we do not tap into it because we are living in ignorance. And ignorance is darkness. Literally the earthly conditioning that blocks out the light. So we have to begin letting go of our earthly attachments. Realize that you are not the body, that you are not the mind, but that you are the everlasting witness, the awareness behind it all. Well, let's look at it this way. From the moment you're born until the moment you die, there are only two things that exist the whole time. Number one, there is change. There is an infinite array of changing experiences That's all that life is. It's changing experience. When you're born, that's a changing experience. You grow up, that's a changing experience. Everything you do during your day is just a changing experience. You go into the dream state, you have more changing experiences. Then you go into deep sleep, another changing experience, because then you wake up, more change. That's all it is. Life is change. But what is the one constant behind it all? Answer me this. Who is the one there when you're born, and who is the one there when you die? It's called you. Ever heard of it? The one constant behind all of your changing experiences is the unchanging awareness that you are. You are consciousness, that is the divine essence of God. And how do you know this? Because what is unchanging is eternal. It's just mathematics. Everything is change except you, so you must be the unchanging. And you can see this for yourself in your life. You look at everything. You literally look. Everything is change, but I am here, behind it all. But the reason we don't see this is because we identify with our changing experiences. We look at our body and we say, yeah, I am my body, but your body is a changing experience. Who is the one aware of your body? Your mind changes all the time. Who is the one aware of your thoughts? If you think you're the voice inside your head, then who is the one listening? Our personality changes. Every single thing in our life changes, except you. We have simply falsely placed our identity on that which we are not. And you can see, life is just one big game. It is only God experiencing itself. Everything else is false. That is the only thing that exists. And identifying with the separate forms is what they were talking about in the Matrix. Everyone's asleep, believing in this illusion that does not exist, because it's all one. There is no separation. But because we believe in separation, we are living in a dream. We're living in a false reality. That is why once Neo awakened, he could do crazy things. He had absolute control over the Matrix. This was a documentary. Literally had the power of God, because the Matrix was an illusion in the first place. The eternal, the unchanging, has absolute dominion over the changing and the temporary. But who has this power? Very few have ever tapped into this power. But we're living in a time where you're going to see more and more signs of this as we continue. In this century, human beings might just, gain superpowers like X-Men. Who knows? Wouldn't that be cool? Because you have genes within you that are latent potential. And you don't know that when you enter into a new environment, it might stimulate and turn on those genes. Epigenetics. And Patanjali said in the Yoga Sutras, on this spiritual journey, you may encounter these powers. And, well, you want to be wary of them, because you can get so obsessed with being this powerful being that you stunt your spiritual progress. But this explains why the spiritual powers happen. It's not just random. It's not just magic. It's because this is the true nature of reality that we don't currently understand as a human species. Even though they figured it out thousands of years ago, we don't understand it now. But even just practically in your own life, even if you don't want much, even if you want to just live a good life, you have to realize that you are in charge, that you are the one that dictates how reality goes. And depending on your certainty determines, well, how likely your desired outcome will happen. But the more you fluctuate, the more you aren't certain, well, it means there's still a lot of attachment with change, which is why you fluctuate. But the more certain you are, well, there's not going to be any change. There's just, oh yes, this is going to happen. Done. Move on. Don't think about it twice, because you are literally living from the God state, and God can just manifest things out of thin air from His words alone. Now, obviously, because we live in these human bodies, we may never have that ability. Even though Jesus proved that, well, you get pretty close. But why not just have fun and see for yourself and experiment and see what happens? Now, I talk a lot about enlightenment on my other channel, which I find is the first step in this process. Just so happens to be one of the most rare occurrences on the planet. Because until you wake up to the true nature of what you are, you will never truly tap into your power. You cannot, because you're living from a limited state. But the limitless can do anything. And people throughout time, like Napoleon Hill or Neville Goddard, they have unconsciously tapped into this power without them actually understanding it. Except actually they may have understand a little bit, but not to this degree. There was a bit of a mystery. But this is why. It's why the law of assumption is so powerful. What you assume to be true will be true for you. When you assume the best often happens. And when you assume the worst often happens. It's your choice, because you get to dictate what you wish to be true. And your circumstances don't matter. And if you get pulled around by your circumstances, well, it means you're still attached to your identification with change. Which is fine. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Allow yourself some grace. Now, on this journey, becoming aware of your true nature is the point. Because that is where everlasting freedom and peace comes from. All the things in the world, it's just change. It's going to go away. So it's not the most important thing. But your spiritual growth on this journey is the most important thing. But at the same time, you don't want to just go live as a homeless beggar, realized God, but your earthly life suffers. You see a lot of people in life. They struggle all the time, suffer in survival mode. Why? Because they're so attached to their identity with the body. So they're living like animals, and animals are always trying to survive. They're living from fear. And you were not meant to live like that, because then you would have been born a pig or something. Pigs are actually probably pretty happy unless they're getting eaten. And their happiness just turns into bacon. That is why it tastes so good. Those who do not know their power, they have no power. And the price of ignorance is slavery and death. Do not allow yourself to be a side character in someone else's movie. And claim your power, for God's sake. Literally. So that you can begin living any life that you desire. And not worrying about your circumstances. Tap into the divine that you already are. It is only awaiting your recognition. If you want to learn how I stopped living in beggar consciousness and entered into my royal nature, don't you see this robe? The king's robe. Then check this out. So you don't have to struggle with money and abundance anymore. Much peace and many blessings. And remember, just be.